Let the midnight special shine a light on me.
Great to have you in the Bay. You don't often get here. What's brought you here today?
Oh, well, look, as a strong advocate and as a father and a grandfather, anything we can be doing to shine a light on things that the insidious thing about domestic violence, we're happy to be involved in when we can. Of course, we know that there's way too many tragedies in our community. So we're also here with the Hearts of Purple team, who we've been a sponsor of for a long time, but more importantly, just to back our community. And I think the Hervey Bay and the Wide Bay is a large community. So, yeah, not normally down at the Bay, but happy to be here today.
Tell us a bit more about Hearts of Purple.
Well, Hearts of Purple, a non-profit charitable organisation, started a number of years ago. I think the beauty of what we've seen with Hearts of Purple is how they've struggled through, without any government support, to have the monitoring devices on victims. More importantly, that the surveillance and some sort of comfort that brings. I think their innovation in the way that they fundraise has really been something that I've been impressed with. And I think it's just a drive of the whole organisation that are really committed to the scourge of domestic violence and the prevention of it, that has sort of dragged our attention toward them. And I think just going forward, we've managed to get a lot of bins into Bundaberg, purple bins into Parliament House, 90 odd bins in there raising funds. It's a hard way of raising money, but without any government support, they've got to do everything they can.
One could be cheeky and say those bins will be busy in Parliament House, won't they?
Indeed. A lot of water bottles, yes.
So some people may not know about the purple bins and the fundraising. Can you explain that?
Well, in the parts of Purple people would be better placed, but we do know that they get some sponsorship to buy these special purple bins. Businesses then, apply, sign a bit of a contract. The beauty of this is, of course, the recycling industry has backed them in and will actually come and collect the bins from the workplace. And that just goes to show just how important this program is and how people are backing it in. So the recycling industry also need to be commended in making sure that 10 cents at a time there is money being raised to get these devices onto people, and up to $5,000 a watch with surveillance. It's no easy task to raise that sort of money. So there has to be corporate donors in this, other people that need to get involved. But more importantly, let's remember, if you see a purple bin in a workplace, consider your 10-cent deposit and give it to Hearts of Purple.
Fantastic. Now, everyone always has their hands out to governments for more money. Any chance of more money for this particular type of project to try and nip domestic abuse of all kinds towards family and kids? People.
Well, there's a number of responses to your question. Firstly, about more money for non-for-profits. I think that's a given. Every dollar that governments can invest in non-for-profits is, the money that flows on from that is really well spent for taxpayers, and the outcomes are amazing. So I guess the governments have a role. It's not so much doing the work, but to enable these wonderful organisations to have the capacity. And someone like Hearts of Purple really needs some help with their volunteers. I mean, they're all unpaid. That's a terrible burden on people to continue with this role without have so many sort of remuneration that they can work with. But I think the other thing you're talking about changes. The legislative reform in Queensland is horrendous, and we talk about it, we do reports on it. Carmody did a report back in 2013 that still has only just 152 recommendation, was only finished last year. That's an indictment on us all in Queensland Parliament, and I think going forward, these other new breeds of domestic violence that we're starting to talk about with financial control, coercive control, all these things now, they should be part of legislation and the protections that come with that. I sit there and I had a role previously trying to drive reforms. It's incredibly frustrating, and every time we see a death or a serious injury, we all have blood on our hands, and I think that's a terrible indictment on Queensland and the policy platform that it's not front and centre. We should be debating it every sitting because it is that important, but sometimes we don't talk about it for years. And again, another review, I say less review and more doing is what we need to be doing in Queensland Parliament.